Hey all, Heretic here today. Patch 32.4.2 drops, probably 1 p.m. Eastern. Mobile players, eventually it'll happen. Whenever, you know how it is. There's a lot of stuff. Now, what we have is some stuff for Standard, Wild, Battlegrounds, just a lot of changes, but primarily here the focus is on Battlegrounds. So, I will in the description give you a link to all the Standard stuff and the Wild stuff. Folks, typically our focus is the Battlegrounds. That's the only mode that we particularly concern ourselves with. So if you want that, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go elsewhere, but I will give you the link at the very least in the description. There's a lot of other stuff though. Let's jump into everything not Standard and Wild. Now, some of you may have missed this announcement, but we are gonna have Anomalies returning to the Battlegrounds. And with that, let's open with a dev comment. Well met. This season is slightly shorter than the usual, so our mid-season shakeup looks a little different. For the first time ever in Battlegrounds, we'll have two systems together, Trinkets and Anomalies. We've curated which Anomalies are returning to add variety to your games while omitting some of the more disruptive ones. We've also added 3 new Anomalies that meddle with the Trinket system itself. Now, I loved Anomalies initially. I did not love their last iteration, but this is them with Trinkets. So I think I have some high hopes, at least in my head initially going into this, where this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm curious what you think. Do you think this is going to be too much? Do you feel like you're already overwhelmed? You're like, hey, the turns are too short. I got too many decisions to make, and now there's Anomalies? Because some Anomalies will certainly streamline things and make it simpler, while others will complicate it more. Let's see which ones are coming back, so we can actually start to theorize what's going to happen. Now, we're going to quick hit this list of Anomalies. I'm sure some of them I'll have a couple comments for because it's me. I like to talk and I have opinions, so let's get into it. First, audience choice. At the start of each turn, one player chooses a card for all players to get at the end of the turn. I like this one. It's fun. It's very random. I like making that decision, be it the thing that makes my build perfect or the thing that I take because I know what other people are doing and that will just hinder them and not help them. It is a fun anomaly. There are times when, it seems like you get nothing interesting, and then there's times where you get tier 7 minions on turn 1, and it's just bonkers fun. So I look forward to this one. Bring home the bacon, start upgrading piggy banks, break them open to gain gold. Fun. Not that exciting, but still fun. Double header. The first time you buy a card each turn, get an extra copy of it. This one is a lot of fun, especially if you remember and you're paying attention. You really can set yourself up for some really fun triples. And figuring this in with Trinkets means there's really going to be some layers to some crazy, crazy stuff. I think a lot of these are really going to reward you for tiering faster. We're going to see, but those triples are going to happen a lot more frequently, and they're going to be a lot more impactful, those important minions you get. Oh, that's right. Not me, not you, person I'm talking to right now. We're not going to find those. We're going to find random trash. But the other players in our lobby, oh my god, the high rolls. 11th hour, the first time your hero takes fatal damage in combat, prevent it and gain 11 gold next turn instead. Lots of fun. Basically, everyone's got an ice block, and when you come back, you have extra gold. Fan-damn-tastic. Definitely an interesting one that will be swinging for the fences to try putting crazy stuff together. Elven Elite, the tavern only offers cards of your tier, and the first bans we've seen, Bobblehead and Innkeeper Stein, are banned from this anomaly. In the case of Bobblehead, it makes a whole lot of sense because you don't want tier 1 and 2 minions to be gone because they're going to be gone as soon as you leave tier 2. And Stein would throw one extra thing in, might mess things up. That all makes sense. Definitely breaks the theme, right? But this one is one I know a lot of people have a hard time with because you really have to remember that if you tier 2 early, you might not be able to find the lower tier cards you need to make triples or make powerful combos. So definitely keep that in mind before you tier. You are leaving things behind once you tier beyond discoveries from random spells. Factory line, at the end of every 2 turns, get a plain copy of your leftmost minion, 2 turns left. Phenomenal, print triples, why not? False Idol, you only need 2 copies of minions to make it golden. Instead of a triple reward, get a gold coin with Pilfered Lamps, Designer Eye Patch, and First Mace Pips banned in this anomaly. Those all make complete sense. Can you imagine Eye Patch and it's like you don't get any real reward. Yeah, they're gold, but you don't get anything else. They're gold and you get a gold. It's like, all good stuff. This should be interesting. Golden Arrow, every 3 turns get a golden arrow. You just make a minion gold. It's targeted on your board. Good. Golganath's Tempest. Minions cost 2 gold and cannot refresh the tavern. It refreshes itself after you buy a card. Innkeeper's Stein, Dalaran Cheese Wheel, Guiding Candle, Recycling Sticker, Lover Sticker, Slippery Slider, and Bounding Fellstalker are banned from this anomaly, and that's a lot to unpack. That one, you have to remember, when you want to buy cards, you really have to make decisions, because once you buy one, your shop's gone. So if you have 2 triples in the shop, you're only getting one unless that refresh gives you another one. Grapnel of the Titans, the first minion you buy each turn is free. Fantastic. Instant Warband, start with 3 different tier 2 minions in hand. Nothing wrong with that. Good fun, good start. Beyond that, not super complicated. Marin's Treasure Box. Trinkets are in the game. All heroes are Marin. There you go. That's nothing too complicated there. That's what we're already doing, except everyone's Marin. Mimiron's Clockwork Stadium. You cannot upgrade the tavern with gold. It upgrades itself every 2 turns. 2 left. Tanatron's Oil Can and Investment Contract are banned from this anomaly, which makes sense because tiering, you don't need it to be cheaper. It's not really worth it. No Face, No Case. Every 4 turns, get a Faceless Manipulator. Phenomenal. For those who don't remember, it copies Battlecry, a minion on your board, exactly as they are. So really, that's pretty powerful as it is. Overseer's Orb. After you upgrade the tavern, refresh it with minions of your most common type. Buying order is really important with this one. If you have something in the shop you want, make sure you buy it before you upgrade the tavern, because once you do, that minion you wanted is gone. Path of the Treasure Seeker. After you refresh 5 times, find the Golden Monkey. Simple, easy, get triples, all good. Perfected Alchemy. Start with Goldenizer. There you go. Once again, target, make something gold anywhere you want on your board. Scout's Honor. Start the game with a Golden Patient Scout. Now, initially, I didn't love Scout's Honor, but that's when it started with a normal Patient Scout. The fact that it's a gold one just makes it fun. So hell yeah, and everyone's going for those tier 6s, so good luck to the person who hits. Secrets of Norgannon. Tavern tier 7 exists. Start with 10 extra armor. Simple. You can tier to 7. You can triple into 7s when you're on tier 6. If you like tier 7 minions, there you go. Treasure Hoard. Either a 5, 7, or 8. The way those work is respectively you'll get, depending on the turn you get the golden minion, it will be a 3, 5, or 6 tier minion. You'll see that at the beginning when you start. It'll tell you right off the bat what it is. This is really nice for setting up powerful triples because, hey, why are you going to be on tier 3 if you're about to get a triple when you could be on tier 5 getting a 6? So if it doesn't mess you up, if it's one you get on a good time, definitely want to tier for this one. This is a great one. Finicky Hourglass. Start at Tavern tier 2. It's boring. I mean, this one I don't really care for. I'm surprised this one came back. It's just you start on tier 2. Tier 1 minions are still in the pool. You just start at 2. Now we have some new anomalies, and I have no art for these yet. I'm going to see if I can find them, but probably not, because they're probably not available to us just yet. Greater Pouches. On turns 6 and 9, buy a Greater Trinket. There are no lesser trinkets in the game. Marin the Manager is banned from this anomaly. Guiding Candle, Innkeeper's Hearth, Pagel's Fishing Rod, Bristleback Portrait, Bronzebeard Portrait, Morgul Portrait, Portable Factory, Poet Portrait, and Surprise Portrait are banned from the turn 6 trinket offering, which makes sense because getting these super early would be super dumb. And a lot of them are pretty good anyways, but it'd be really dumb if you could get those that early. So yeah, I'm glad it works that way. This one looks like it could be interesting. Lesser Pouches. Now this is on turn 6 and 7, buy a lesser trinket. There are no greater trinkets in this game. Buttons, Souvenir Stand, Trip Vouchers, Ornate Clock are banned from this anomaly because there are no greater trinkets, so of course. And this one's a little different. You're not going to get that big result from your greater trinket. You just have 2 lesser trinkets, which are pretty good in some cases, but this will definitely change some of how you play. And getting those trinkets on turn 6 and 7 right there is definitely going to probably mess up your tiering, depending how much they cost. And if they're actually worth that cost when you're looking at them versus tiering, will really change the outcome of this one. This is an interesting one too. Impressive Foresight. Buy your lesser trinket on turn 5 and your greater trinket on turn 8. Marin the Manager, Buttons, and Ornate Clock are banned from this anomaly. So this one's interesting in so much that you're just getting your trinkets a little sooner. That's going to mess up some stuff we're used to playing. Give it a week, we'll be used to it, but until then, it's definitely going to mess some stuff up. Will we adapt to this one? This will be fun too. Now, when it comes to returning duo anomalies, we're going to get all bottled up at the start of each turn, get a portal in a bottle. That's it. None of the other ones, so there you go. Now, when it comes to removed anomalies, I'm not going to talk about these. The reason for that is simple. A lot of them weren't in the game last time anomalies were even in, So saying they're removed when they haven't been in the game just feels silly to me, but I'm going to put their images up here so you can see them and you can remember what some of them are and either rejoice that they're not there or be sad that they're not there to be offered us anymore. Most of these are ones people didn't love or wouldn't really work great with trinkets, so it makes sense that they're not coming back. Now let's move on to some minions and spell changes. We're going to open with a dev comment. It says, this patch is aimed at tuning up some of the lower performing minions types and trinkets, particularly beasts, murlocs, quillboar, naga, and menagerie. Because we're still relatively happy with the balance this meta, we're deliberately gone in with a lighter hand. Have fun in the tavern. Let's see if we agree with their changes or if we thought there should be more changes. Let's dive in. First, we have Nala the Redeemer, and that is just a tiny change in so much that now she's a 5/7, and whenever you cast a tavern spell, give a friendly minion of each type +3/+2. It's a super tiny extra bit of health. It's on her base stats. It's 1 extra attack and 1 extra health for every spell, and that is a decent difference. I mean, you're figuring in anomalies and trinkets, you can cast a lot of tavern spells, and this is a decent stat buff. We'll see, but it sounds promising for Nala. Silky Shimmermoth, tiny change also. Now is going to be an 8/3, so just 1 extra attack, and it's going to give a 3/2 buff of your beetles after it has gained attack. That's just an additional attack itself. So it gives your beetles a little more hard hitting. It makes the Shimmermoth hit a little harder, which doesn't really matter in any way, shape, or form, but that buff being better does help beetles a little bit because they're usually pretty chunky. Let's see if this extra attack makes the difference, make them a little more effective. Shoalfin Mystic continues the Murloc tradition of yo-yoing up and down like they all do. They're on tier 3, they're on tier 5, they have stats changes, they have buff changes. Now is going to go from a tier 3 4/4 Battlecry or tavern spells, grant an extra +1 attack this game, which was kind of garbage, to tier 5 5/5, we don't care about its stats. Battlecry or tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1/+1 this game, which means if you are playing any kind of spell comp, you definitely want to cycle these because a 1/1 buff adds up a lot over time. So this one will be a nice change for spell comps. Bream Counter got changed yet again, and it's a tiny change, but that's because who uses Bream Counter typically anymore, right? There's always better Murlocs, it feels like, but they're trying. Now it's going to be a 4/4. When this is in your hand after you play a Murloc, gain 4/4. So it's just a little bit extra on the stat department. Nothing insane, nothing crazy, just a nudge, hopefully in a better direction, although I still think there's better things to take. Felemental getting a change goes now to be giving a battle cry, give minions of the tavern +2/+1 this game. It's just an extra attack, same tier, same everything else. Felemental always kind of feels a little sad. There was a time way back when this was phenomenal. You saw this with a Rylak or a young Murkai and you were kind of crying, but that was a long time ago. Since then, Felemental hasn't really had a moment in the sun, and I don't think this is going to be the change that makes it dominant again, but it does make it a little better at least. And hey, Shifting Tide got a change. Used to be give a minion +3/+3. If it is a Naga, give it another +3/+3. It is now give a minion +2/+2 twice. If it's a Naga, repeat this. Now that is actually a pretty big buff because it's applying twice. And that means if you've buffed your spells at all, those buffs will apply twice to any differences to the spells you have. And if it's a Naga, repeating that means it's 4 times, which is huge for Naga boards, which is good because it feels kind of subpar right now. And I don't mind playing it when I buffed my spells a lot, but otherwise it's usually not something I'm excited to see even at 2 gold. Although situationally it can still be good. Hey, if it's a Corrupted Myrmidon, you're just happy it's got more stats. And one small final adjustment, just a little thing, Moonbacon Jazzer has returned to the minion pool. Quillboar players rejoice, your blood gems might make it so your Quillboars can take a punch, other than when you super high roll into a giant board of Death Rattle giving them 1,000,000 stats, in which case they could take a punch then and now they will be unkillable. So good on you, Quillboar, a definite threat, not only when they high roll. All right, now we have some lesser trinket changes we need to go over, and there's some big ones and some little ones. Let's see what we got. Wax Imprinter got a change, and I think this is just a wording change to make it feel a little more fluid, but maybe I'm misreading it too. Used to be at the start of each turn, gain 2 gold and take 2 damage if possible. Now it's gain 2 gold and take 2 damage at the start of each turn. Repeat this if possible. Feels like that's the exact same thing to me, said slightly different, but I feel like the slightly different makes it feel a little better. So I don't know. If there's something else, please let me know in the comments because I want to know what I missed. Smuggler portrait, just a wee change. Used to be get a whelp smuggler, set its stats to 412. Well, your whelp smugglers are dragons. Okay, it's not bad. Now it's get a whelp smuggler, set its stats to 1212. Your whelp smugglers are dragons. Oh, so it's a 1212 on the lesser trinket turn? Ow. Okay, that's definitely a threat. This is going to be very, very different. I feel like this is too much the other way, but you never see it. That's because it was a 412. We'll see now. Marvelous Mushroom got a bit of a change. Used to be your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +1 health at the start of each turn. Improve this. Now is your tavern spells that give stats grant an extra +2 health at the start of each turn. Increase this by 1. I don't know if I'm still even remotely interested in this one, but it is a buff, so there you go. A little more health. Azeroth Marvel Globe got a big buff. Used to be at the start of every 2 turns, discover a tier 6 minion. Now is at the start of every 2 turns, gain 2 gold and discover a tier 6 minion. That 2 gold really is important. Typically, Azeroth Model Gold is free, the globe. And now you're also going to get tier 6 minion with 2 gold. Not bad. I'm more interested now. Battlecruiser portrait used to be get a 2/2 battlecruiser, and now it's an 8/8 battlecruiser. Otherwise, exactly the same, but an 8/8 is a big difference from a 2/2, so big buff there. Implicator portrait, major change. You could say twice as good, because now instead of getting 1 false implicator that eats the highest health minion in the tavern, you get 2. That is a big difference. If you think you might be doing any kind of shop consumption, you definitely are going to get good value from this portrait. Now for the greater trinket changes. Yeah, we've seen some little ones. It didn't seem so little with the lesser changes. Let's see what the greater ones are doing. In recycling sticker, right off the bat, used to be after you play an elemental, your next refresh costs 1 less. Now is after you play an elemental, gain a free refresh. Millhouse can't get this trinket, which makes sense. That would be way too good. Essentially, this is the same thing. But what I'm curious about is after you play an elemental, gain a free refresh. So is this like refreshing Anomaly with a brand? When you play it, it'll actually remember the multiple free ones you get. Or when you play one, do you have to hit refresh right away? Does it stack and remember how many free refreshes you get? Because with that wording, I would think it does. Otherwise, it's not nearly as good, right? Because if you have a whole shop of elementals you want to buy, you're not really getting any value. But if you cycle them all and you bank 6 or 7 free refreshes, that's phenomenal. It really depends on the difference. Either way, it's still a good trinket. Another pendant now is just going to be minions in the tavern have +1/+1. Upgrades every 3 times your hero takes damage outside combat. It used to be every 4 times. So yeah, we've taken away 25% of the requirement to buff the tavern. That's pretty damn good. We'll see a big increase, making Nether Pendant perhaps a little more viable. Lorewalker's Scroll used to be 0 gold whenever you cast a spell on a minion, give it +5/+5 is now 2 gold. And whenever you cast a spell on a minion, give it +7/+7. Still a fantastic damn trinket, just got better by a little bit. Oh yeah, it's 2 gold, but who cares? You're gaining so many stats, especially if you're playing Quilboar or Naga. You don't care. This is good. Theatar sticker, I feel so bad. I joked about it last patch when they moved it to 7/7, saying probably no one ever gonna want to play this anyways. And they're getting to ridiculous levels of stats. So maybe this is it. Used to, after you play a minion with no type, give a friendly minion of each type +7/+7. Now is 3 gold, so up 3 gold, but after you play a minion with no type, give a friendly minion of each type +10/+10, a 30% increase, which is really a 50% increase from the total from the last time they buffed it, because it used to be a 5/5 buff, I think. They're just desperate to make Theatar sticker work, and it just, I don't know, maybe now, maybe, but I'm not holding my breath. Golden Anchor used to be 0 gold at the end of each turn, give your golden minions +8/+8, is now 1 gold at the end of each turn, give your golden minions +10/+10. Once again, not a bad increase. I don't know if I'm still excited about this. I mean, yeah, if you're running a Drakari, maybe a gold Drakari, you are getting really good stats out of it, but we'll see. This is typically on a pirate board, so just generating more stats usually isn't enough, because that's one thing you do. You're usually looking for some way to cheese out either more economy or spells or something, but we'll see. Bronze Timepiece got a major change. Used to be 8 gold, start of combat, give your minions health equal to its attack. It is now 3 gold, start of combat, give your minions health equal to half its attack. Now, I don't know how much love this is going to be seeing now. Before, it was basically the you win button when you're playing dragons, or at least you finish top 4 because it's so damn good. Now, that's a pretty big reduction. We'll see how viable it is going forward. Curator sticker I have played with, and I am not in love with it, and this change looks good, but I still am not in love with it, because the issue with this usually is you've clogged my board with too many minions that don't do much with all the other technical stuff I have to play in addition to my other minions. So more like, I guess I'm going scam when I get this, but Curator sticker used to be 0 gold, get a mishmash, and a 10/10 amalgam with venomous is now 2 gold, get a 20/20 mishmash, and a 20/20 amalgam with venomous. Okay, maybe they finally hit the number. 20/20 is the, yeah, if you're in trouble, you're definitely gaining some tempo with that. But at the same time, you're probably not going to do much better than like 4th or 5th, unless you've got a way you can give all that stuff reborn and a ton of stats and divine shield. We'll see. And then there's a slew of just gold changes. We're not going to worry about those. There's just the price on them changing. Those will be in the patch notes if you want to take a look at them, but they're not really worth talking about too much. Most people won't even notice the price change. One final addition, also Dazzling Dagger and Artanis sticker have been removed from the greater trinket pool. I have never wanted to, nor have I ever actually seen someone take Dazzling Dagger. Not even once. I'm sure somebody won with it big, but I haven't seen it happen, and I'm not really shocked. It's kind of subpar. An Artanis sticker I didn't hate, but I also never was really happy when it was the best thing to take, so I'm fine with that going away. We have a couple bug fixes for Battlegrounds we're going to cover here. First, we're going with triple rewards. Now give a 3 gold pouch if there's no valid minion to discover. Now, we have seen this in Anomalies. If you're like, wait, what? How does that happen? It's not often, but it can happen when people are doing silly things. So this is just something in, so there is a reward for them. The problem is usually when they're doing silly things like that, they're winning anyways. So I feel like they usually don't need the gold, but when you have multiple people doing silly things, at least this gives them a little more money to work with while trying to do something else. It's a very niche case most players will never encounter. Fixed a bug where Golden Mawcaster's Battlecry could trigger multiple times with brand type effects. It now only grants 2 discovers since there's only 1 undead minion to destroy. And that makes sense. It's weird if they can get, a golden brand and a golden Mawcaster and be like, I've got all these stacks of discovers. I killed 1 minion. That feels really wrong. I don't think this is a bug so much as just no one really thought of that. And then they saw it and they're like, oh yeah, that's a problem. We need to fix that. Luckily fixed now, so good change. But that's it. That's all the changes. What do you think? Are you excited? Do you feel like Anomalies being here with trinkets, is it a great thing? Or maybe you're just excited because you're like, oh, well, they're not really my combination, but it means going forward, maybe we'll see things like this. And maybe some things are staying forever. Like maybe, when spells came in and then stayed, maybe that's trinkets. Now we'll have trinkets forever. And then, we'll go to the buddy meta and whatever new meta, and we'll always have these new stacking effects. Or you're one of those players who's like, I like vanilla BGs. What the hell is happening? Save me. To you, I apologize. There's not much I can do for that one. But it is interesting. I at least want to give it a chance. Even if you have any hesitation, you're not excited about it, or you don't think it sounds like fun, give it a shot, because it might turn out it's the best thing ever, and it doesn't take much to try. Remember, we don't pay any real money for this mode, so definitely give it a shot, and don't just write it off as something you're not interested. I'm sorry, if I'm a little off on my energy today. My son's high school graduation was today. We just finished up. We set up, had the huge party, did the cleanup, did everything, and now I'm recording it right after the party. So I've been on the run for the last 2 days, and to be honest with you, I'm about dead on my feet trying to think of how I'm going to edit this and have it out in time when it comes out tomorrow. But timing of everything just came together where there was too much happening at once, so here we sit. So at least he's off to college in the fall, and I'm going to have more time to focus on the channel and do some other stuff. And with that being said, I know I've been suffering from some burnout, but I've had more of a mental, an attitude adjustment in what I want to do with the channel. And if you haven't noticed, right now I'm streaming. So my stream, which has always been on Twitch, is now also on YouTube. And I'm going to start putting out a lot more videos, I think. my idea is to also put out non-Hearthstone videos. So you're going to see a lot more Hearthstone videos than you've seen in the last couple weeks because there really haven't been any Beyond News. And then there's going to be the live videos. You can ignore that if you don't care about my gameplay. I understand. And then there's going to be the guides coming back. We're going to have a good time with this and we're going to grow this. And I really do appreciate it. If you like this, come, like, subscribe, watch it, hang out with us, come to the live stuff and just have a good time. It's not about being the best in my community. It's about having fun. If you need to be the best, there's a lot of people who want to have you watch their stuff and teach you to be the best through watching them. I want you to learn how to be better at the game, have fun at the game, and that is the most important thing. Have fun at the game. If you want to force the silly build, that's okay. You shouldn't, but that being said, you can, and you can have a good time doing it. We're going to help you learn how to do all those builds, do the silly stuff, and have fun. And I always want your feedback. So please let me know what you think in the comments below, because without you, well, I mean, I have done this by myself without anybody watching, and it is doable, but it's not a whole lot of fun either. So please do that for us. Come hang out, leave some comments, let us know what you think. Until next time, folks, I'll catch you in the Battlegrounds. Have a good one. Later.